Hi everyone, welcome to the weekly market update. So as usual, what's the agenda is basically I will go through what happened last week on the economy, followed by what things to look out for this next week upcoming economy, followed by the earnings data report, and then we will talk about what is the news ongoing in the market, especially at the US side. Then after that, things to watch out and counter to monitor. Of course, we have some recap of what have been going through or what have been so-called recommended based on last week. So as you can see, last week economy data, the most big data will be on the non-farm payroll and on the unemployment rate. So of course, as the initial jobless claim. So based on the figure, you can see that it's actually all at the green side. Payroll increased nearly 1.8 million. So you can see from here, 1.8 million. So and it's all above the expectations. Beside that, not only to that, and on the jobs is also, the let's see, the unemployment rate is also lower than the expectations. So of course, it means that there's more job out there. However, this is just for that month itself. Do take note, even with a 3-month gains, right now, the total employment level is still way below the February level, which is before the COVID sessions. So market might be, due to this short-term news, it caused the market to actually close at the green side last Friday, but it's not really green. It's barely just a few percent only, 0.1% of the, even for Dow Jones is like less than 0.2%. So it's not really a green, but after all, the chart does says that it's going to break even higher. So we'll monitor the chart later. For this upcoming week, right? Things to watch out for. We just talked about the earnings calendar. If let's say you are, I have raised this last week, before the end of the week. I have said that if let's say COVID-19 vaccine successfully created, right? Which sector or will actually benefit the most, whereby it will cause a spike in the share price. People always fear of missing out, like I say, FOMO. So I did mention, so things to watch out, right? If let's say you really believe, like example for here, Trump said that COVID vaccine should be possible coming on before the election. So this Trump is right now doing a lot of effort trying to buy votes from the people, US persons, to actually vote for him lah. So I think that will actually sector that we should actually watch out, right, is like the cruise, the airline, the casino, the resort. You can go take a look on this kind of sector right now. Most of the chart is actually going upward, based on last Friday closing. I will point out one or two later that we can go through. Of course, before that, we will always do some recap on what, like I say, the week before last video. I say that things to watch out. We can short the BTI, continue to hold DBX with Dropbox because there's an earnings report. I'll be going through some case study over here later, and also the long palladium as well. So this is a thing we'll be going through. Of course, there are some counter to recommend as well. If let's say you have no position on hand, you can consider later. All right. So what is the news upcoming, right? I mean, for before that, take a look earnings calendar. If you are going to in cruise sector, Royal Caribbean can be one of the indications for the cruise line to see how's the earning report, and then things to watch out like Cisco, which I keep mentioning. So as you guys believe there's a tension between US China, so if you're holding China related shares like Baidu, then you have to watch out on your position as well. All right. So what is the news for this coming thing is actually is this thing. All right. So this is the news. Like I say, uh, you know, Congress, like I always keep saying that based on my last video, the relief of the stimulus for COVID actually ended on 31st July. So right now, the Congress and the White House has been trying to come out the relief plan. But I think Trump, there's a patience for him lah. So he actually mentions he has signed a executive order to go on this relief plan. So what is the plan? Is actually signed on four things like you can read from here. He actually signed a form T that will provide additional 400 down from 200 because actually their relief is from 600, so it dropped to 400 because they say that if let's say they keep giving 600, right, it's like encouraging people not to go back to work because the relief is way more than what they are be earning. So they sign on 400. Of course, there's some suspend on the student loan. There's some there's some this called the payroll taxes. So they actually defer the payroll taxes for people who earn less than 100,000 per annum lah. So this is the four things they are actually looking for Trump. Whether this will go through, but this will definitely create a spike in the market. I mean, a spike. It's a bullish thing for the market because you think that it's a relief to the market, right? But of course, the questions come here is that where do they get the money? So right now, this is the question mark here. But as you know, Trump is buying votes, so I think this should somehow push go through should able to go through on my stance. And not only to that, the vaccine should be another thing to put, you know, I think Trump is trying to push very hard, or maybe it's by a rumor sell on news as well. So all this right is actually resulted might end the market to, you know, close even when go into higher bullish break out of the chart lah. We will look at the chart later. All right. So beside that, the next news that has been, you know, speculating or has been ongoing is actually Trump. As we guys know about these TikTok apps. So last week I mentioned that actually Microsoft is looking to buy over TikTok. TikTok is actually a short video clip, as is very popular in the China side with a lot of users. So Trump believed that there is something like against those kind of, you know, privacy regulations, this kind of thing like spying personal data, I suppose. So they actually banned TikTok and WeChat. As we know that WeChat is a very big apps for China for their payment, WeChat payment. So beside by doing banning US resident from doing business with TikTok and WeChat, right, it's uh actually got two impact. One impact is definitely it will affect WeChat and TikTok business, alright, affect the China business, but concurrently it does affect the US business as well, because we know that China is the biggest market. So for China, people go to US to spend, right? If let's say US, you know, those kind of shop, they want to earn China money, definitely they have to bring in WeChat payment, right? So it's much more convenient for those China people to spend in US. So this is not this ban, right, is actually a bad situation for both sides. Because why? Not only that, you must take a look. If let's say Trump do this act, right, it's like giving Chinese a reason to ban US people as well. Correct or not? Because you must understand, at for its current situation, right, China need US more than China. US need more China than China need more than US. Correct or not? Because most of the US manufacturing giants such as GM, uh, GE, General Electric, DuPont, this kind of thing, even for Apple, all this, right, most of their business can be account up to 30% from China itself. So by banning this, right, we will never know that will China's actually fight back or not. You know, China can actually come out with something to fight back. Oh, I don't want US business at here because it's just like a breach to us as well. So this is like I say, is, you know, when we come back to when US China have a trade war, it's the same thing. Definitely will come to the peace level and both sides will have some agreement here. All right. So this is actually a bad situation, bad way lah. Because China, if were to mimic what Trump did, right, uh, then it will be a very bad for both sides after all. So I think this is just a headline to fright the, you know, to what we say to cook the market. But after all, if let's say you're a long-term investor, shouldn't be worried. This is just a noise in the market itself. All right. So things. So that's all for the news. That's what we are monitoring right now. So of course, for economic calendar, right? Next week, which I missed out this part. Next week, what are we be looking at? This week, next week I actually added China because actually China have some data coming out. This China is the first country to be struck by this pandemic, so they are going to release the rough of the economy data this week for investors to see how is their recovery at the China side. But of course, I understand a lot of people believe that China data is all, you know, uh, the figure cannot be trusted. But after all, it somehow prove a little bit lah. So if let's say if let's say the figure is not way far apart, it's still between or within the estimations from the analyst, right, or the forecast, right, then we should actually take a piece of salt from there as well. All right. So this is the upcoming news for this week to take note. Without further ado, let me share with you another thing. Okay, in rationale, right? I mean, in finance rationale, we should know that because the job growth slowed in July. All right, we know that pandemic caused a lot of job losses, correct or not? And compared to February, right, to now, right, you can see that still have minus negative 12.9 million since February of job. It's still way below the pandemic. So why the market is way beyond the February before the pandemic? So no one can explain. Like I say that stock market is not always looking back. It's always forecast what happened going forward. But like what DBS Piyush CEO has said that for the finance sector, right, in order for them to really take the impact, right, will become into 2021. Right? Because by then people who cannot survive on this pandemic, loss of jobs, company will start to shut down, start to default their loan, and this will cause a spike, a negative balance sheet for the bank side. So as we see, the job is still below. So you can scroll down, share with you guys some information. We can see that based on sector wise, you can see industry are rebounding, but none have fully recovered. So construction side is somehow going to match, but the worst off I can see that it might be business professional services or leisure and hospitality. But of course, like I said, if let's say vaccines to be created, this might be the next sector to shoot up on the shares market lah. Alright, so without further ado, let's start looking into the chart itself. Okay, so let's start with the charting itself. So like I always do, we will look in the total chart first. What I mean by total chart, we look at the microeconomy first by starting from the index itself. Then we zoom down to the particular shares, go to by particular sector to individual counter of the shares. So for Nasdaq, why I pull on Nasdaq is because if let's say you have been following my video, you should know that I have recommended to short Nasdaq previously, but the short actually went invalid because I see that there is as you can see, why I recommend is because there is a divergence at the point of time when I recommend it. Can you see here? Here is high, here is low. All right, but the shares went even higher. So, but the thing is that it went invalid because it go even higher, and it break even higher of the point. Then I say that do not short by the time because the market is still on uptrend, so just follow the trend itself as we can see from now. All right, the result tell is uptrend intact, so do not short, do not try to be the hero to short. It's because it actually reached a high from there. So same goes to S&P 500. We know that February high is around this point, this blue line. So we are reaching, a lot of people is monitoring, a lot of coins given that, hey, you can short now. Why? Because they will actually short here, put some stop loss somewhere around higher. But if today, if I'm a fund house or whichever, right, I will definitely break this to stop hunt you and make the price, I mean, make the chart go even higher to stop loss, to hunt your stop loss, basically to say. So to me, one, the trend is still intact. Maybe there's some pullback, some pullback. It might be somehow, let me see. Uh, it might be in this way, you know. All right, it might have some pullback and wait even higher to break all the resistance, all-time high resistance. So with all the relief from Trump, with the buy on rumors, sell on news vaccine rumor, so this might actually break all-time high, just like how Nasdaq break all-time high. All right, and if we can see from Dow Jones Index, I have chart based of Fibonacci. When I say that it touches 68%, 61.8% Fibo, it went higher. We thought that here is some resistance here, but the thing is that it break higher and it stay above 78% Fibonacci. So I think that like same wise, market will eventually go even higher, somewhere to meet this point. All right, to meet this point, or it will actually form something like that. All right, so we are actually coming to the end of the earnings report. So news right now is not on the earnings side, it's on the speculation of Trump. What is Trump going to do? All right, and we are coming 3 months down the road on the elections. In order for Trump to get elected, he will definitely do positive things to the market and say once again tweet on his Twitter say that hey, I did the market way better. It break all time high, this kind of thing. But that's why before we come to the Trump election, I think market will continue to follow the trend right now. All right, so this is the index. So if let's say I am kind of at the bull side, even though in my Facebook I say watch out on the market, it might fall, right? But the thing is that the trend is still stronger. Always trade with the trend. Don't go against it. If you want to go against it, manage your positions to put the risk amount slightly lower instead. All right, beside that, let's take a look at WTI. WTI is something that we have to pay attention. Why? Because this coming week there will be crude oil inventory reports, and we can see that I have given a short last video whereby somewhere here. So last week will be 3rd of August. If market open, you should have short here. Right now you are in red, but it never triggered my stop loss after all. So if let's say you can see from my um, my my risk reward, if let's say I'm going to short during the open price at a point of time, I'm actually around 2 risk rewards ratio, but it didn't. And right now, if let's say market is going to turn like vaccine news is coming up, demand of oil is definitely going to be kicked in, and I believe oil will go even higher. But I think we should monitor the crude oil inventory because market need a news to break out if let's say uh, the oil need to continue to go positive side. Why I say monitor? Because as you can see, right, we are actually sitting on the SR line. What I mean by SR line means support and resistance line. So we can see here is a support term. You can see that support, 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 and right now it's resistant. So in order to turn this major support, this resistance to break above this resistance, we need the news to come in play. It's either vaccine or either the crude oil inventory. So continue to monitor. If let's say you have not shorted by then, right, do not short right now. All right, do not short. Monitor first. But however, if you short like me, if I shorted, I will just put my stop loss. I mean, it's okay to trigger a stop loss, even though I know that news might be turning, but I'm trading based on TA. Of course, at the point of time, I know I'm trading anti-trend, right? So I actually risk a small amount. So if let's say my strategy, I put myself 3 different stars, this is my 1 star risk only, whereby it's a minimum risk amount. All right, next thing, I have recommend Palladium to long at the point of time on 3rd of August. I can see market actually went higher 3 days solid and then it came down. So, but what is my call today is the same thing. I will continue to hold on to Palladium as a long position. So if let's say you have not long, so where should you be? Let's assuming you get, I will prefer it to come down somewhere here on the pullback if possible. My stop loss is definitely below here and my take profit will be here. All right. Of course, what is the amount we are looking at right now? Let's take a look. Around 1.5. So risk reward is around 1.5. If you are keen, you can consider long around 2150 and you close at 2000. Let me see. I think 2050 will be a good point to exit. All right. So if you want, it's around 1.3. Of course, risk reward is not fantastic, but at the point of time, I recommend this is I long at somewhere here. My stop loss is here. All right, it's around 2 point, close to more than 2.5, but no choice. All right, but I continue to believe that Palladium intact upward. Okay, so next thing, like I just now say, if vaccine all the news coming in, what is the most important sector that will actually move more? So it's actually cruise, right? Cruise I will choose on uh Carnival Corp. Carnival Corp. Why? Because this week there will be Royal Caribbean earnings results, so we take note from there. So however, for this is actually an anti-trend, so it's also a 1 star. My risk reward is around 1.6. If let's say I have to long based on market open at 14.22, then my stop loss is around $12, 11.93, and my take profit is around $18, a round figure. So if let's say you are keen, you can enter, but this is an anti-trend, anti the market economy because it's buy on rumors, sell on news. Please limit your risk management. All right, limit your risk management, control it. Next thing is actually this counter called Cisco, SYSCO. What is this company doing? Is basically on selling and marketing distribution of food product to restaurants, healthcare, and education facility. So it's related to food. Of course, you know that right now pandemic, no one want to dine outside, right? But the thing is that if, like I say, buy on rumors, sell on news, you can see that there's spike up. But do take note, earnings report is on the 11th August, which is on the Tuesday. So if let's say you are not a risk taker, you can wait after the earnings report and take a look where is the direction, where is the guidance. But if let's say you are keen, I have given my entry price, stop loss, and take profit. All right. Stop loss is definitely a strictly needed in trading, especially before earnings report. take note just in case it's gap down, those kind of gap down. All right, next thing I want to talk on this called DKNG, DKNG counter. DraftKings, if you are not familiar, what is DraftKings doing? It's basically on sports betting, and they have some things related on casino as well. Why I say that? Because right now, as you can see that US actually legalized for people to bet on sports, but it's not throughout the whole US first. It's only a few states. But the thing is that if let's say NBA has just kickstart, they can actually play the games, NBA, all this kind of sports, if let's say come into play. And right now, based on technical analysis, 50% there's a pullback. So right now we are actually sitting on the 61.8% of the Fibonacci. So my intention is to go long as well on this counter. If you are keen, my forecast is actually, let's say I long somewhere at 33.50. Let's hopefully I can get it. Then my stop loss is somewhere below this here. It's around here, $30. Then I will try to go for the previous high, which is around here. So the risk is 1.64. But if let's say you want to be really, really safe, right, you can until wait until the price came back to the 50% amount long at a whole figure of $30. 50% is here. But when it come down, you can wait here, but I don't think it will reach here. I think a mature call will be entry at the $30 level. All right, let me see. $30 level. I mean, this is subjective individual. If you are worried of missing out the boat, you can do this way. All right, so you can enter at a $30 whole figure. Just nice when the candle fall, this 100 moving average kick up, you will hit here. So your entry price is $30. Stop loss is around 27. Target price is around 35, 37. You can estimate, or I put 36. Risk reward 1.9. So it's subjective to individual. All right, so I give you two call entry price from here. All right, so this is all the recommendations for this week. One case study to study back is Dropbox. So do take notes. As you can see, what happened to Dropbox? Dropbox earning. Dropbox dropped 5% last Friday, or more than 5%, perhaps 10%, despite the earnings beats the estimate. All right, so a lot of people actually scratch their head wondering, hey, what causes Dropbox to drop? You can look at the chart itself. Can you see one red color? It kept down and it go all the way down with high volume. So in my scenario, there's few things. Is first, either the company is very fishy, something wrong with the management, or second, it's because due to their CFO left the company. We can see from here. Let me take a look. It's not stated. It's because their CFO actually left the company after 8 years. So people might worry that Dropbox might not continue to perform that well after the CFO left. But of course, there's definitely a transition, right, for someone to pick over. So for my take is that Dropbox long term is good to go, but their competitor out there is very strong, like Microsoft, like Google. But if let's say you believe in Dropbox, you can actually nimble a bit from here, because in order for fund houses to buy into shares, right, they need to push down the share price in order for them to accumulate lower share price. Am I right to say? So if let's say you believe in Dropbox, you can nimble a bit. But if you think that their earnings report is rubbish, is fishy, then pass. All right. It's okay. There's a lot of counter out there. You don't have to fall in love into one counter. But I'm still holding into it because I've already entered before that. All right. So that's all for me for this week. Continue to stay tuned. I have update in my Facebook page quite often. So if let's say there's any urgent thing, I will update from in the Facebook page. If you have not followed my video, then continue to go to my website to just subscribe for the video. To follow up my video, I will add you in my Telegram group. All right, that's all for today, this week. Thank you very much, everyone. Bye bye.